It turned out in the end to be a win for the West Indies by an innings and 64 runs, and that really is a very, very conclusive margin. At the end, after all the festivities were over, Peter West talked with the two skippers.
Clive, well played yet again. I think the needle's getting stuck in the groove, isn't it?
Well, it seems so, Peter.
What are your thoughts on this latest victory?
Well, I thought we played rather well, but there again, having won the toss and batted, it was one of those decisions that you had to, looking at the wicket over the years. And I thought at one stage we looked like we were going to be in some trouble. But then Gordon and Jeffrey Duchamp batted extremely well and pulled us out of it. We got a formidable total, and one that I'm sure would have given England some problems, which it did.
Perhaps we can come back to Greenwich and Duchamp in a moment. I'd like to go to David. They often say, David, that fortune favours the big battalions, and here you were, having announced you were going to play two spinners, and you lost the toss.
Yes, it does make it slightly unpleasant, slightly unfortunate that way, that if you set out on a hopeful strategy of catching them later on in the game, when you happen to be batting there instead of them, it sort of rather upsets it. And as regards that record that they've got the groove stuck in, I think we'll just try and change it for the Oval. Pick a new one.
You must have thought at 70 for 4, my word, is this the breakthrough? Is this the glimpse of the promised land?
Well, yes, that was a wonderful start, really. And Paul Alec bowled straight, bowled well, got rewards that he might not have expected to get quite at that stage of the game. And at that stage, things are looking good. And you always know that someone can get together. You always think, well, let's hope it doesn't happen. But this side we're playing against seems to have got itself out of any sort of trouble it's found itself in virtually every time.
Let's come back to Greenwich and Duchamp then, Clive.
Yeah, well, Jeff has never really made 100 outside of the West Indies, and it was good to see him, batting the way he batted. Put his head down, played quite sensibly, and he's a magnificent player. He's a class player, and it was good to see that he got a few. Well, Gordon, he just goes on all the time. He's been batting extremely well this year. But looking at his results, it seems that he loves England. For some reason, he loves batting in England. He's got some marvelous scores in England, and he's one of our frontline batsmen for quite a long period now.
And you must be pleased that your young spinner Roger Harper is coming on so productively.
Well, yes, I think we were looking for somebody of that nature for the last couple of years. I mean, during my period as captain, I've tried about 14 spinners, but nobody came up, with the goods like Roger. And I think that he's a perfect foil for our fast bowlers, and I think he's learning with every game.
And when is the production line of West Indies fast bowlers going to end? Is it ever going to end, Clive? Because you call up Winston Davis, and he was very lively here today, wasn't he, in this match?
Yes, he's very quick, it's no doubt about that, but it's just that at times his line is a little bit wayward. But he's a good prospect, and I hope the production line continues.
David, let's talk about the good things in the England performance.
Well, Alan Lamb, very much so. He's now set a new record as a run scorer, as a 100 scorer against the West Indies, and that's obviously a very notable achievement. And after he'd had such a wretched time abroad over the winter and somewhat in the previous summer here, it's magnificent to see him looking so good, looking so confident, and proving once and for all what a good player he is. Because he had a good time in Australia a couple of winters back, where he got a lot of runs without getting 100, and people were starting to say, when's the 100 coming? When's he going to make it properly? And I'm very glad to see him come through like this summer.
Can I ask you what the thinking was in the England dressing room at the time when Paul Terry was told to get his pads on?
Well, yeah, again, very much, it was firstly really with Alan, because he was there on 98 at the end of the over, and I thought he might as well have a chance to get 100. It's not often you get even 100 against West Indies, let alone 3. And so I was quite happy for Paul just to occupy the other end. And then once Alan had got the 100, just thought, well, why not see if you can just spar a little bit, if you can, by some fluke, get the other 20, then all to the good. But I wasn't expecting him to get into line or to risk himself in any serious way. And of course, Big Joel does bowl that Yorker rather well.
Because it did seem when Alan Lamb had taken 2 and reached his 100, he looked your way as if he was expecting you to declare and bring them all back again.
Well, yes, I mean, that would have been, I suppose, a reasonable thing to do under the circumstances. But as I say, we weren't intending that Paul should get in any real physical danger, being as incapacitated as he was. And it was really just a question if you could get a long handle on it, slide it through the slips once or twice, perhaps Lammy might slog a couple. It was a little bit sort of clutching at straws. And as such, in the end, we didn't really gain much, we didn't really lose much.